find, track and punish every terrorist and their backers. We will pursue them to the ends of the earth. India's spirit will never be broken by terrorism. Terrorism will not go.
In Pakistan, will use the full spectrum of power, both conventional and nuclear.
With India refusing to bite the bait, the tensions on the Pakistani side is increasing by the day. The Pakistani Defense Minister Khwaja Asif has today said that if their existence is in threat, उन्होंने जो कहा है कि अगर हमारी existence खतरे में पड़ी तो हम नहीं तो कोई नहीं. So what does Pakistan want and what does it mean? To discuss this, we have with us General Ved Prakash Malik, former Chief of Army Staff of the Indian Army. Welcome to Samvad, sir.
Thank you, Mac. Thank you. It's always a pleasure being with you on
Sir,
this panel.
It is an honor for me, sir. Sir, the Prime Minister has vowed to punish the perpetrators of the Pahalgam attack. India has put in abeyance the Indus Water Treaty and has now closed the flow of water in the Salal and Baglihar dams on the Chenab. Now, this has serious repercussions for an already parched Pakistan. Pakistan, on its part, has suspended the Shimla Agreement. It is feeling emboldened by the support it is receiving from China and Turkey in particular, and to an extent Azerbaijan, although the world community, as we saw in the United Nations Security Council meeting, is basically shunning Pakistan. It has faced, the Pakistani army, I mean to say, has faced severe setbacks in Balochistan for jailing Imran Khan, for mishandling the economy. So we are sort of sensing a sense of relief on the Pakistani side as it is indulging in the rhetoric of war. But the situation, sir, as we see it, is somehow getting to be serious. The Pakistani ambassador to Russia has already threatened of using the full spectrum of war, including nuclear. Do you feel, sir, that the generals in Rawalpindi could actually instigate a war? And how serious is this threat of conflict?
Mayank, firstly, whatever our Prime Minister said in that meeting that you quoted just now, he has articulated the voice of, I think, every Indian, not only in India, but abroad also. Because after that horrific incident that took place in Pahalgam on 22nd April, I think every Indian wants somebody to be held responsible and somebody to be punished for that. And that is Pakistan, particularly its Pakistan Army. Now, all the factors that you have mentioned just now as to whatever is happening in Pakistan and the kind of corner in which Pakistan Army has got into, in addition to that, I would add one more factor, and that would be General Munir's personal ambition to stay on longer as the Pakistan Army chief and to continue to stay in power, both in the military as well as in the civil. So under these circumstances, and there's one more factor I want you to consider. For a very long time, Pakistanis have been saying that if India tries to control the water flowing into Pakistan, that would be a red line. They have mentioned it at a number of places. You know, some of the red lines that they have been mentioning off and on amongst the strategists. So this has been one of the red lines, and that is what is being said again and again by Pakistani ministers also these days. So under these circumstances, I would not like to rule out a preemptive strike from Pakistan. Though I believe firmly that Pakistan would not like to start a full-fledged conventional war, but I believe that they can start the war or a limited war from their side. That is how, if you recall, 1971 operation had started. In 71 war also, they preempted us in Punjab with their air force. So something of that nature happening cannot be ruled out. And I'm glad that our government has now announced about all the protective measures of civil defense to be rehearsed tomorrow. That's a good step that has been taken. It not only from the point of view of a preemptive from their side, which cannot be ruled out, but also in case of a retaliatory action from their side, if we take initiative.
Sir, but war, when we talk of limited wars, sir, wars are sort of organic on their own. So once we start a war, however limited the ambition of any party might be, is there any mechanism to control the war after it starts? Because, I mean, collateral damages, the whole domino effect. So why would anybody indulge in something so foolish?
Well, I would say that Pakistani strategists have always been foolish. Weren't they foolish when they started Kargil war? So, this is a big problem in the Pakistani military, that they cannot think long term. They only try to think short term. And the other thing is that, as I said, I know that they cannot last long if a war takes place. But they may start something from their side. Now, as far as escalation control is concerned, I believe that this major power, or superior power in this case, that is India today, everybody knows it, we have a greater chance of controlling the escalation. They may not have it. Because if we want, we can control escalation at any stage after taking one step or two steps. But for them to realize that they will not be able to control it, and therefore they are likely to suffer much more. But then, as I said earlier, that there is a lack of strategic thinking, long-term thinking in the Pakistani military.
I don't think that it's a secret that Pakistan has a past as far as extremists.
You do admit, sir, that Pakistan has had a long history of backing and supporting and training and funding these terrorist organizations.
Well, we have been doing this dirty work for the United States for about 3 decades, and West, including Britain.
So ever since Pahalgam, we have been hearing a lot of statements from the Pakistani side which are bordering basically on the provocative. And it is not concerned only with India. Because Bilawal Bhutto has been screaming from the top of his voice about ya to pani bahega, ya khoon bahega. Then he again admitted in an interview that Pakistan has had a past with the extremist organizations, the terrorist organizations. Now the Defense Minister Khwaja Asif, who is always on a tangent on his own, he's a master of rhetoric, it seems, without reckless rhetoric, I would say, sir. He said in an interview that Pakistan has been doing the dirty work of USA for 30 years. Now, this might come as a surprise to many, but I think this is not a surprise for you. But what I would like you to elaborate a bit as to what is the dirty work being mentioned by Khwaja Asif. And is that the reason that Pakistan's USA still has a soft corner for Pakistan? And the third path, you have seen Pakistan for a very long time, sir. Does the Pakistan of the present, I'm talking of the establishment, differ from the Pakistan of the past?
Mayank, there are two aspects that you have mentioned in your question. One is the dirty war aspect. And the second is the kind of rhetoric, even nuclear rhetoric, that is taking place amongst the Pakistani politicians particularly. Now, the first one, as far as dirty work is concerned, what is dirty work? Dirty work is Pakistan Army organizing Lashkars or Mujahideens, as they call them, or terrorists, training them, arming them, and making use of them for proxy wars. Now, this is not new. In fact, I have said that it is part of their DNA now, and it is part of their military doctrine also. It started off in 1947, when under Colonel Akbar Khan, these people managed to get hold of Pathan Lashkars, and they launched them to attack Jammu and Kashmir in October 1947. It was only at the nick of the time that we were able to check them and throw them out from part of Jammu and Kashmir. Now they tried that same thing again in every war that has taken place. In 65 war of Gibraltar, in 71 war also they used Razakars in then East Pakistan, and in 99 they did not use them, but they behaved in that manner, wearing their clothes to enter Kargil sector. So this is something which is now part of their DNA, and they have now become masters in that. So whenever we consider any activity from their side, military activity, we have to look into this aspect. So this is a history as far as Pakistan is concerned. And now also they are trying to take all the benefit. They're trying to save their own lives. I'm talking about the people in army uniform. And they can easily pass the blame to somebody else, both domestically as well as in international community. Now, as far as the rhetoric is concerned, now they know, Pakistan knows that they cannot fight with us a conventional war. They are far too weak. We are almost 10 times stronger than them in our national, comprehensive national power. And they are playing on two different lines. Externally, they are begging people to stop India from taking any kinetic action. They're running around all over. They've got China, USA, United Nations Security Council, everywhere they are running. That is one aspect of it. And the other aspect is domestic, domestically, everybody wants to show that he's a great leader. And therefore, they are trying to show that we are strong, but this is for the domestic consumption only, and the kind of rhetoric there. This is what they are following. So if this chap Bhutto, he's now trying to, Bilawal Bhutto, he's trying to show that he's got a big chest, and he's trying to, the rhetoric that he's indulging is in only for his domestic consumption, and to tell Pakistan Army that he's still alive and he's still hoping to become one of the political leaders in Pakistan.
True, sir. Sir, there was this one tweet of yours I was going through where you say, I'm quoting you, over the years, use of terrorists and terrorism has become Pakistan's primary military strategy. It is most economical, saves military lives, and is unaccountable. Close to it. How can India make this policy costly and unaffordable for the Pakistani army?
Yeah, that's true. As I said earlier, that it has now become part of the Pakistan Army DNA, and it's part of their military strategy and doctrine. Now, unfortunately, in some cases earlier, including the post-26/11 incident also, there is a tendency for us to say that let's go for the terrorists who have entered our area and who have caused this mayhem. But the real strength on the other side is not these terrorists. Terrorists are available cheaply as far as Pakistan is concerned. The real power behind all these terrorists is the Pakistan Army. Now, as I always say, that the terrorists in Pakistan are being brought up by ISI, and ISI is part of Pakistan Army. So what we have to realize is that unless you hurt Pakistan Army and adequately, and unless the Pakistani public realizes that it is the Pakistan Army which has been taking the whole nation for a ride, it will, these kind of activities cannot be stopped or cannot be slowed down. So the real target for us should be Pakistan Army and its image that is there in Pakistan. We should be aiming at that whenever we... Now, if we start running after the Pakistani terrorists, even if you get hold of a person and you sentence him to death, as it has happened after post-26/11, That's not going to make any difference to Pakistan army or Pakistani public. They will deny it. They will keep on denying it. And this kind of cheap labor or cheap soldiers are available to them for them in plenty. So we have to be focused on what Pakistan army is, what is going to hurt Pakistan army, and it's going to hurt its image in Pakistan.
Because speaking of the Pakistani army, General Munir's two-nation, that rant he went on before the Pravasi Pakistanis on the as the mirror image of the Pravasi Bharati, which we have in India, it was an absolutely irresponsible rant, and we can all safely say that this led to Pahalgam. But somehow the army refuses to change its way. The people in Pakistan, which I fail to understand, as to, I mean, they have been taken in by the army or don't have the courage to stand up before the army because it is relentless. Even Fazlur Rahman, he says that even the Taliban has gone over to the side of India. So Balochistan is gone, Taliban is no longer supporting them. But even then they carry on with their merry ways. I mean, I understand that it is part of their DNA and genetics, but sometimes some things have to change, sir. So how does it start?
The point is that Pakistan army has been in power for a very long time, and they have tasted this power for a very long time. The other thing I would like to say is that the Pakistan army, for them to survive, for them to, in this manner, the kind of status that they have created for themselves, the kind of power, the kind of money that they have created for themselves, all these aspects, it all depends on showing India as an enemy. And that is one thing that they have been doing it over and over again. And in case of General Munir, for example, now it's quite obvious from his that he's got a mindset following Jinnah. As far as two-nation theory is concerned, he still believes very strongly that we are two different nations. And he's also got a mindset of Ziaul Haq, of radicalized Islam. So with that kind of a mindset, heading the army and almost running the whole country, you know, we have to understand that. That is the kind of a leader that we are now facing on the other side. And therefore, our strategy, whatever we do, non-kinetic and kinetic, has to be focused on how to hurt Pakistan army and make it unpopular within its own country.
So the Pakistani army is a sort of the fountainhead, and the world has remained indifferent to this fact that it is the fountainhead of extremist ideologies and jihadi terrorists who have been proliferating in Pakistan for a very long time and being encouraged to proliferate. Now, terrorism in this age of technology is no longer restricted to geography. It cuts across geography, has no meaning for spreading of radical ideas. So it is not going to remain restricted to just the geographical boundaries of Pakistan, neighborhood. It's going to spread far and wide. So shouldn't the world wake up and understand that the price they are paying for Pakistan's indulgence with terrorism and what it means to the region and the world? Isn't it time?
Ma'am, what is Pakistan army is benefiting from the geostrategic location of Pakistan. It has, you know, Iran on one side, Afghanistan, China, and then Central Asian republics also not very far. And of course, Russia is also not too far. And that is one area, region, where USA has been making use of Pakistan army and its dirty work to face these adversaries, if I can use that word. All the countries that I named, I mean, they are in some kind of adversaries as far as USA is concerned. So if USA and its Western allies can make use of Pakistan army and its dirty work to do their work and to face these adversaries, they are quite happy. And that is why USA has not really come down harsh on Pakistan Army ever. So they may have gone through ups and downs as far as relations are concerned, but they have, my way of thinking, they have always remained soft. Even before, I mean, I must tell you that before 47 also, the British took side of Pakistan when the war started between India and Pakistan. Everybody knows it. I mean, the whole, I have gone through this history of 47-48 war in detail, and the kind of softness that they showed, not only in London, but even sitting in Delhi and Karachi. You know, Lord Mountbatten and all the British army chiefs that we had before General Cariappa. All these people were in cahoots with each other, making sure that Pakistan doesn't lose out. Now, that is what has been utilized now by Zia-ul Haq in 1980s, by Musharraf. And even today, Pakistan is hoping that they will benefit it both from, if not from the Western power, at least from China, they will benefit that. They're they're benefiting from China by keeping us as an adversary and trying to do harm to us. So that is what is happening on the other side. And we must understand the kind of geostrategic environment in which we have to handle.
It is too much of a coincidence, sir, that the moment Trump imposed tariffs on China, very heavy tariffs, and the manufacturing companies have started to move or in the process of starting to move, India is it, and the whole region is again volatile. So maybe we can make a lot out of it, but that's for another discussion. Sir, I was just reading this, which I also said earlier, that Fazlur Rahman, he said that the Taliban is no longer on the Pakistani side. Now, there are major contradictions in Pakistan, and the Pakistani army is on a very weak ground in Balochistan. It is having problems with Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Sindh has always been restive, although the Muhajirs are temporarily under control, but they have always been restive. But for a very long time, there has been this fear, mostly spread through the Western media, of an imploding nuclear-armed Pakistan, which is not good for the region. Despite this, India continues to get led by the Pakistani army under the umbrella of nuclear arms. So it is not helping India at all. So should India, in your opinion, now step up efforts to balkanize Pakistan? And if so, how should we go about it?
Look, for quite some time in India, the thinking had been that if Pakistan implodes, then we will have to suffer more, because it's a generally known strategic fact that instability in your neighborhood can create instability in your country also. So there is some rationale behind it. But I think now people have got over it, because we have seen that. And implosion in Pakistan is not so easy. A lot of people think that all this which is going on in Balochistan or in KPK province, they will succeed in secession. I don't think so. Look, again, there are certain, while KPK, yes, there are Pashtuns who want to be part of Afghanistan. In fact, I remember one Afghan soldier, an officer telling me, "Yes, sir, we would like to shake hands with you across the Indus River." Well, that was the thinking. He was a student of mine. He told me that. But that beside, Balochistan, now there are Balochis both in Iran as well as in Afghanistan. And I don't think that Iran or Afghanistan would like to see an independent Balochistan, because it can create problem for them also, you know, and part of the areas in which the Balochis are settled in Iran as well as in Afghanistan. So these are problems which are there. And the other thing is that Pakistan army is far too strong. I mean, they may not be strong as far as we are concerned, but within their own country, you know, we're innocent people. And so they look at Pakistan army as their savior to some extent. So it is not so easy to look for implosion. If it happens, so be it. But as I said, that also can happen only if Pakistan army is hurt badly and it loses its image within Pakistan. It is not so at the moment. It's going to take time, if at all.
Sure. So now a question which is in the minds of many people, and a very sensitive question also, and who better than you to answer this question? It's been nearly 2 weeks since Pahalgam happened, and there is no trace of the attackers. It is as if they have disappeared from the face of the earth. And this is raising concern, and a lot of questions are also being asked as to how did they get away so easily. So what have you know the territory, you know the terrain, sir, how difficult or how easy it is to operate in that terrain. So what exactly has happened?
Mayank, I think these questions which are being raised in India, that only shows illiteracy as far as national security is concerned and how the national power can be utilized, And there is no idea if you jump into fray without preparing yourself adequately, without timing yourself properly. And so whatever is happening today, I think in a way it's a good thing. We are preparing ourselves properly, both defensive as well as proactively. And the timing part, in any case, even the Prime Minister has left it. Do it when you think it is appropriate and do it at a time of your choosing. Now, don't forget, in 1971, we took 9 months to attack Pakistan, to attack East Pakistan. And that also when the war was initiated by Pakistan on the western side. So I think, I believe we have to be patient and we have to trust our government and armed forces who are preparing themselves. And whenever they strike, I have no doubt when they strike, they will strike hard this time and not like what happened in Balakot or cross-border action that we took earlier. So for that kind of preparation, I think we require time and we have to be patient and we have to trust our government and armed forces particularly to take action when it is necessary. So I think we should not become impatient. In fact, I'm also quite disappointed with some kind of with the kind of political rhetoric that has started appearing in our media, our own people, political leaders, indulging in this kind of a thing, which is not a good thing. So we have to be patient. I think we are on the right path. And in the meantime, don't forget, Pakistan is in panic. And let that panic continue for as long as possible. Where is the harm?
Yes, sir. So you favor a very sustained approach, sir, because Balakot and the surgical strikes were one-off incidences, and the water approach, because we can see that panic setting into. So this sustained approach is more preferable in the longer run, I believe.
Absolutely. I feel that now whatever approach we adopt, it must be sustained. And unless it is sustained, this cross-border activity, the kind of daring that these people are taking over and over again, and this cannot be stopped. So we have to be prepared for sustained activity, and the nation has to be prepared for a long-term action this time, both kinetic as well as non-kinetic. That has already started.
Sir, one final question. This is about something which is going on in Pakistan, and I have had friends in Kashmir who were visiting Kashmir the day Pahalgam happened, and we spoke in the evening, and they had the same story to tell that it is a false flag operation. It never happened. It has been done by the Indian agencies. Now Pakistan has gone to the UNO and was snubbed at the UNSC. But this started after Balakot also, sir. The false flag in Pulwama, that this is political. This is nothing to do with Pakistan. What would you say to these people, sir? I mean, I want this to you on record as saying as to how unjustified this or of rhetoric is on the Indian part?
It's nonsense, absolutely. And it is totally unjustified. To indulge in a blame game like this. Our country, not only the armed forces, anyone in our country will never indulge in a thing like this. This is not part of our ethos. That is one. And secondly, people who are indulging in a thing like this, who are in public, I would call them not just stupid, but totally unaware of national security issues. And they don't deserve to be leaders at all. Now, as far as, to some extent, I would also blame our people, our government, and other agencies for not having proper communications. Because I think, the social media is going berserk, absolutely. There is no sense of responsibility anywhere. The TV channels are running for TRPs.
True.
So they will blow up all these things. So to some extent, we are also to blame for not being able to check such stupid quotes that you have mentioned just now. But as I said, that under these circumstances in which we are today, I think every Indian ought to be more responsible. And if at political level, people have decided that they will be working together with this government and they will support the government, these so cheap leaders that we have, some of them, I think they need to be shut up, absolutely.
So I hope this message goes out today, and I would like to conclude on this message itself that India needs to remain firm, needs to remain committed, and believe in the armed forces and the leadership we have, that things will work out well in the end. If we stay united, we stay together. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And I think they are working already, as you can see from the kind of panic which has been created on the other side. And we are taking the right steps. And there is no need for any loose talk anywhere. That I think every person, every responsible person should realize and not permit this kind of loose talk to go public.
Thank you, sir. I would like to conclude on that note. Thank you so much. Thank you and Jai Hind, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Malik. Jai Hind. Thank you.